I'm Michelle and this is my Woolly Wumpkins channel. Thank you for joining me again. If you haven't already, please subscribe so that you don't miss any of my woolly adventures. Well, today's adventure was started by my daughter. She said, "Mum, I've seen something and Gary really needs one for himself." Now, two things you need to know is when she says this, it usually means that she wants me to knit or crochet something spectacular that she's seen and the pattern doesn't exist for, but she thinks Mum can make it. And of course, I do my best and I try to accommodate. And the other thing you need to know is that Gary is a Build-A-Bear frog. Say hi. Can't believe I'm doing this. But this is Gary. And Gary, as you can see, is quite a trendy little dude. And he's got a friend. Her name's Sally. And these two apparently are in desperate need of a patchwork cardigan, much like the one inspired by all of TikTok, it seems, that Harry Styles wore. I think a lady called J.W. Anderson. So I just stopped there because I wanted to check who this person is. So J.W. Anderson made a lovely patchwork cardigan for Harry Styles. Now we're not going to attempt to copy that because that would be a breach of copyright. What we're going to do, we're going to use crochet techniques that I've used a million times before. We're going to use colours that are freely available, and we're going to just make a patchwork cardigan that is reminiscent of it, so that Gary here can have one made by me, and then this video is going to help my daughter to make one for Sally at her own time, in her own pace. Now she's laughing over there because she thought I was going to make both of them. But no, this is a tutorial for you, my love. Okay, so Gary, Sally, you've brought my materials, have you? Yeah? Come on in, let's have a look. I've got a 4.5mm crochet hook, and we're just using wool that we have in the house because it's a very woolly family. We've got wool for every occasion, even acrylic, which I don't really like working with, but I'll do it for Gary and Sally. So we're going to use this colour blue. I'm just going to put them by the side here. We're going to have some black patches. We're going to have some red patches. We're going to have some orange patches. And we didn't have green of the same weight because all of these are double knit weight. But the green that was chosen for me is in an hour and weight, but I can work around that. And yellow. So there we are. Got to get my tape measure out now and work it all out for you to take the hard bit away. So they're the things you're going to need. You're going to need a crochet hook. You're going to need the colours for your patches. You're going to need colour for your collar and cuffs and waistband, and then you're going to need a colour for the front band. Now this tutorial is just what's the right word? It isn't an in-depth tutorial, as you'll see. I just show you briefly what to do and I let you get on with it, because the stitches are quite easy to do. You don't need a 2-hour video to teach you how to crochet a square. So I'm going to now switch off for a bit and switch into working all this out mode. See you soon. Somebody up there's laughing at me. Ah, the joys of motherhood. To make the patches, we're going to be using first this red colour, and as I said earlier, we've got a 4.5mm crochet hook. I use the ergonomic ones because I get joint pains and it does make it a bit easier. Need a tape measure because we're going to be making our patches approximately 2 inches square. So 2 inches that way, 2 inches that way. And to do that, we are going to have 8 treble stitches going across, and we're going to have 4 rows of those 8. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to start off with a chain. Oh, you can start off whichever way you want. Stick to your usual technique, or if this is your first time, you might want to put your wool down. Oh. And make a loop like that to start you off. This is how I start off though, which might be the way that you choose to do it. So I just grab the yarn, twist it around, catch the working yarn and pull it through. Pull it tight. Okay, so we're going to work 9 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see they're not tight. They're not super loose, but they're not super tight either. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's how it looks. We're going to count back. There's 1 there, 2, and then in that 3rd one there, we're going to work a treble stitch. So we do a treble stitch by putting our yarn around the needle, putting the needle through the stitch, catch the yarn, pull the yarn through, and you see you've got 3 loops now on your hook. Then, and again, it's not super tight, it's not super loose either. I'm going to catch the yarn again and bring it through the first 2 loops. Then you're going to catch the yarn again and bring it through the second 2 loops. Then we're going to put our yarn around the needle. We're going to look for our next stitch on the chain. We're going to put our hook through there. Now we're going to catch the yarn and bring it back through, which means we've got 3 loops on our hook. Then we're going to catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2, catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2. Now we're going to go on to our next one. So we yarn around into the next stitch, so in case you can't see that, into that hole there. Catch the yarn and bring it through. 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook. Catch the yarn, bring it through the first 2. Catch the yarn, bring it through the second 2. Yarn around the hook into the next stitch. Catch the yarn and bring it back through that stitch. Catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2 on your hook. Catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2 on your hook. I'm getting a little bit faster now. The beauty of YouTube is you can pause, you can speed up and you can slow down, so go at your pace. And if you're not sure, just watch it a few times. So yarn around the needle, into the stitch, catch the yarn and bring it through the stitch, then catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2, catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2. Yarn around, into the chain, catch the yarn and bring it through the first one. No, I've got distracted by people talking upstairs. So I'm going to undo that and do it again. We're going to go around the needle, into the stitch below, catch the yarn and bring it through, and then catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2 loops, catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2 loops. Yarn around the needle, through the next stitch, catch the yarn and bring it through, catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2 loops, catch the yarn and bring it through the last 2 loops. There we go. So let's count these now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You notice that I counted the first. Oh, I'm going to take this out so that I'm not dropping everything here. So we'll count our trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you've got the 3 chains that you started with. Remember, you counted back 1, 2, 3 before you put that treble in. So that counts as your 8th treble. So I'll pop my hook back in. Now what we do, we work 2 chains, 1, 2, and we turn our work, and we're going to work trebles now into the top of these trebles. I'm going to do a row of that, so it'll be 7 trebles across here. So you can have 1 in the top there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's see how that looks, shall we, in practice. Okay, so yarn around. We're not going to go into the bottom here, we're going to go into the top of the next treble stitch there. See that hole? So we're going to, let's get something behind this. There we are. So we're not going to go into this first hole. We're going to go into this hole on top of the second treble. Sorry. Because this counts as your first treble. So here we go. Into there. And we go in through both strands of the V at the top of the stitch. So we're going to catch the yarn and then bring the yarn, catch the yarn again, bring it through the first 2. I'm going to move this out the way so you've got a better distinction between backgrounds. Then catch the yarn, bring it through the second 2 loops. Yarn around, go through the top of the next stitch, catch the yarn and bring it back, catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2 loops, catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2 loops. Yarn around, in through the top of the stitch, catch the yarn and bring it through, catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2 loops, catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2 loops. Yarn around, through the next stitch, catch the yarn and bring it back through that stitch. Then we're going to catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2 loops, catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2 loops. Yarn around, through the next stitch, catch the yarn, bring it back through. Have I caught something there? I'm going through the camera, see I can't quite see it clearly. There we go. We'll start that stitch again. Yarn around, in through the top of the stitch, catch the yarn and bring it through, catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2, catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2. Yarn around, into the top of the next stitch, catch the yarn and bring it through, catch the yarn and bring it through the first 2 loops, catch the yarn and bring it through the second 2 loops. Now we're reaching the last stitch of the row, which is our 3 chain strand there. So we're going to do the same, but we're going to go through the top chain. So we're going to go through the top chain, catch the yarn, bring it through, catch the yarn, bring it through the first 2, catch the yarn, bring it through the second 2. And there we finished our second row. And you're going to do this now a further 2 times so that you've got 4 rows in total. So 2 chains, turn the work, and now I'm just going to work it without saying the process. So you can see it, but you haven't got to hear it. And here we are, coming up to the end. One more to go into the top. Now if you want a little tip on how to make it easier to get into the top of these 2 chain strands, have a look for my video tutorial on making a blanket. It's only a short tutorial, and don't worry, you don't have to make a blanket. It gives a few tips on what to do to delineate these corners a bit easier, make it easier for yourself. Okay, so there we have it. That's our square. So this only has to be rough because they are only bears, aren't they? They're not. It's not as though it's going to be an actual human wearing it. So as you can see, it's 2 inches. It's upside down. Sorry, it's 2 inches by 2 inches. Now to make one that'll fit your Build-A-Bear, you're going to need 30 squares. Now if you have a skinny Build-A-Bear, because some of them are a bit skinnier, you will only need 28 squares. But I'll mark out on the video in a little while the 2 that you need to leave out. To do the patchwork as we have, we used 5 colours and we had 6 squares of each colour. Now let's decide the order that the colour are going to be sewn together in. Here are our squares. We've got 6 green, 6 red, 6 yellow, 6 black and 6 orange. Now we're going to lay them out. Take these back so that you can see how it all comes together. Right then. Now I've just I've rolled the sewing ends and pinned them just so it looks clean for the video. So I'm going to put them together like this. And this is going to be the back of the cardigan. Then we're going to add on a sleeve. And then this is part of the back. And we're going to be changing the colours to give that bright effect. Okay, next we'll have a black, then an orange, and for the other sleeve we'll go for black again, this way. Now we're going to be making the back of the neck by here. So we'll start over with the sleeve on this side here, red and orange. Got to leave a gap for the shoulder at the neck, and then shoulder here we'll go with a yellow and a green. Next row, which is the shoulder of the front, we're going to have orange, red. I'm going to jump over to the other shoulder. We're going to have green and black. Coming down now for the end of the sleeve and the beginning of the collar, we'll go yellow, then red, then orange, jumping over to the other side, yellow, black, red, and then the front panel of the left side, right side, orange, green other side, yellow, black. Now if you can't picture what I've done here, this is the front opening, then this is one shoulder, this is the other shoulder, this is the back of the neck, and then this is the underarm coming into the sleeve, same here for the back, here for the back, and here for the back, and then we'll be adding ribbon here, here and here, which is the waistband ribbon, and we'll add a neck ribbon here, and then we'll go down either side here. So it's looking good so far. Now to sew them together. You can use any stitch to sew them together that you're comfortable with. I'll show you the stitch that I use. It's called mattress stitch, and I like the finish it gives. Now some people like to have their sewing ends showing. I've seen people do that. I personally don't like that, and as it's me that's making it, that's the way we're going. We're going to have a nice, hopefully clean line with no yarn tails, you know, these little ends, these bits, none of these poking out. I'm going to do it in sections, so I'm going to go here, then here, then here, here, here. But you can do whichever way you want, as long as your finished shape is this. Okay, let's get on with it. I'm going to show you how to sew together two sides of equal number of stitches. I live really close to a food store, so they do home delivery. So if you can hear a dragging noise, it's them loading up their little vans. If I was to wait for them to go, I'd lose the light. So as you can, I'm just going to hold this here. Oh, come on. So we've got 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to join them together. So I'll take my pins out. Okay, so I'll use the yellow because it's a brighter colour for you to pick up on the camera. Oh, I've dropped on it. Oh no, I've kicked my feet. Needle. Okay. Doesn't want to focus on the needle, does it? So you thread your needle. And whichever part is threaded into the needle, this will be held on the right. That's just how my nan taught me to do it. Here we are. We line up the end, the bottoms, and then we just secure into the red. You just pick up one strand of the bottom stitch and pull through, which gives us that nice flush edge that I was talking about just now. And now we're going to go back over to the yellow, so we're going to go into the middle of the stitch and out to the top of the stitch, and we're working on the side of the stitch, not on the front. Even though it looks like the front, we've actually gone in from the side. So I'm going to pull that up there, and then if you pull, you see this will draw together. There we go, closing up that gap. Now we open it again and we go just above where we've come out here, into the side of the stitch, and then out through the top of the stitch. Again, it's on the side there. Pull and make that stitch disappear. And you'll notice that the bottom is lining up, the top of the stitch is lining up. Now we're going to go back over to the yellow. I'm going to go through the bottom of the stitch and out of the middle, and then we're going to come back over to the red and go through the bottom of the stitch, or rather, sorry, we're going to go through the middle of the stitch and out of the top. Pull, and as we work we pull our yarn so that it closes up any gaps. Now we're going to go through the top of the yellow and out of the middle. So on one side you're going through the top and the middle, and the other side you're going through the middle and the top. So over here we're going through the middle of the stitch and the top. Back over here, top of the stitch, middle of the stitch, pull, and then middle of the stitch, top of the stitch. Now because this is the very top, we're going to aim to get as close to the top as we can. There we go. And pull, sorry, there we go, pull, and then just come over to the top of the yellow and pull. I'm just going to tweak this, there we go. So if I hold it back, you can see, right, as you can see when I pulled it in, that loosened up, so that's why we go back around and just catch it, just catch it closed, there we go. So that gives us our nice join. Almost an invisible seam, see, on both sides, which you might think is a lot of trouble for a teddy bear's cardigan, but you know what, when you do the little things properly, the big things almost do themselves properly. So far we've got this bit done, this bit done. Now I'm going to join the orange to the red. Here we are then, I've completed the joining of all the squares in the vertical direction. So I've got, they're like strips now, look. Next job is to join them, oh, there we go, join them across here now. So I'll join here, then here, then here, then here, then all the way over here, then here, 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 here. Woohoo! We've managed to sew all of these together and kept our shape that we discussed. Now we're going to get Gary. Gary. Hi Gary. Sorry, I did book you in. So I'm going to see if it fits Gary. So turn it the other way because that's the back. Bring this forward. Bring this forward. Oh, is it gonna fit? It fits. Yay. So now what I'm going to do is make the collar, the cuffs and the rib. Can you see it coming together? You happy, Gary? Yeah? Great stuff. I forgot to mention, I've got to sew all these ends in as well. Make it look pretty. But I'll pull that off, I think. Make the ribbon first. Now that we've sewn all of our squares together, we're going to make our collar, our sleeve cuffs and our waist cuff. So I've chosen this stitch here, which I'll show you how to do in a moment, because it gives the nice texture, which is similar to rib, but it's not a true rib though. Okay, I'm going to show you something now so that you know how long to make your strip of collar. You're going to take your work and you're going to try it against your template as you're going through. And what we're looking for, we want to be able to do this. We want to be able to line it up, standing up like this, all the way around, making sure you get into the corners. And you want it to be just that little bit, 1 row, 2 rows bigger than the hole. Does that make sense? Might not make sense, but this is why. Because if we take this and we take this and we pick up our work upwards like this and stretch it, we want, hang on, I've done it the wrong way because I got distracted by someone watching me. Oh, dropped it now. What we want is to hold our strip corner to corner and pull tight, and you'll see then, I'll just do that all along there. Can you see how it fits? And it actually looks as though it's too small. But what that'll do, when it's sewn on like that, you're going to sew in a straight line along here, sewing the two pieces together. When that's done then, oop, this will bounce up and be springy, bringing the rib effect that we're looking for. That's not probably going to make much sense to you until you actually do it, until you see her in action. But before you see her in action, I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, you can skip forward to see the finished collar sewn on, or you can look at the other video that's got it. I'll put a link in the bottom for the collar section on its own. Okay. Starting to look quite cool now, all the squares sewn together. So we're going to make now the collar, which is going to go around here. We're going to take the red. This is how I start off. I twist like that and then I pull the yarn through and pull it tight. Now I know that was fast, but that's the beauty of YouTube. You can slow these videos down, you can speed them up. So we're going to do 8 chains. 1, 2, and they're going to be loose, they're not going to be super tight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go into this loop here, and we're going to we're going to single crochet 1 into the next one, 2 into the next one, 3 into the next one, 4 into the next one, 5 into the next one, 6 into the next one, and the last one, 7. And then we're going to do 1 chain before we turn the work. So let's turn then. Now what we're going to do we're just going to work into, you know, at the top of your, I'm going to take this out so that I can show you this. At the top here, you've got your V shape. See it there? One V on one strand on this side, one strand on this side. So you're just going to be working through the V, the strand that's closest to you. So this one here. You would normally go through both. I'll show you this now. You normally go through both like that. You're not going to do that. You're just going to go through the first one. And that's what gives us a fake rib effect. So let's just get myself established again. Turn my work. We're going to go into the first strand and we're going to work a single crochet. One. It's worth saying it out loud to yourself as well. Into the next strand, just the one that's closest to you, not the back one there, just the one that's closest to you. Work a single crochet, and that's 2. Into the next one, and that's 3. I'm going to do the same all along. To the next one is 4, and the next one is 5, and the next one 6, and the next one 7. There we go. So we've completed our row, but we're going to do a chain to get us onto the next row. We turn around and we do exactly the same thing. We're just going into the closest strand of the V at the top of our single crochets. So going in, catch the yarn, work your single crochet. So 1, onto the next one, 2, next one, 3, next one, 4, next one, 5, next one, 6, next one, 7. Now I recommend you say the numbers out loud to yourself so that you keep track of where you need to stop, because sometimes you can get confused and think, do I need to go in there, what, you know, where do I stop? So when you get to 7, you stop and you do your chain and you turn and you do it again, and you keep doing that until you have a nice long strip. Here we go. And here's our fake rib. Okay, so how do I know how long to make it, you may ask? Well, this is just a little tip. What you're going to do is you're going to make it so that it is long enough to be able to do this. Because we're making the collar, so it's got to fit in to the collar hole. There. Okay. And it's fine if it's over. In fact, you want it to be hanging over a little bit. Not too loose, but just a little bit. Because when you pick it up, you're going to, if I pick it up like this so you can see, you're going to actually sew it like this. So this will go along there like this, like this. And when you do it this way, you'll notice that it's it's actually a little bit too short, but it's not. It's just that we're pulling it, and we want it to do that. See how? So now when it's like this, we can sew these along here, and then along here, and then along here. We're sewing the two together like this all the way across, making sure that we finish with these two parts level. And then when it's finished, the collar will flip over and it'll give us a nice bit of a stretch, which will add to the fake rib effect. What am I talking about, you may think? Well, let me sew this in and I'll show you. You're also going to want to work, before I show you the sewed in, you're also going to want to work 2 strips shorter than the collar, but again, just like this, a strip for there and a strip for there. So you don't want to work all this part, you just want to work this, and they'll be your cuffs. So you'll have your red collar, your red cuffs, and then we're going to sew it up the sides and the arms, and we'll work the bottom cuff, and then finally the front bands. Okay, so this is how it looks sewn up. I've added the collar, I've sewn it on, and I've sewn on the cuffs, and you can see that the cuffs are not particularly tight or stretchy, because on these teddy bears their hands tend to be bigger, or at least with the froggy one their hands are bigger than the rest of them, the rest of the arm. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the border, we're going to make the rib for the waist. But to do that we need to take our cardigan, turn it the other way around, and we need to, let's just get it in place. We need now to sew up here and down here, up here and down here, so that the cardigan is closed. It makes the full C shape there, so that we can then work one of these bands to fit around here. Then what we're going to do, we're going to sew that band on like we have with the cuffs and the collar, and we're going to just do some blue single crochet up the sides to finish it off. I've sewn closed the sleeves and the sides on both sides. So now we attach the waist strip, which looks like that. We're going to use the mattress stitch that I showed you earlier. It's really starting to come together now, isn't it? To work the front band of the cardigan, we're going to be using the blue and a single crochet stitch. So I'm just going to show you how to do that on this square. So you're going to join the yarn to your work by, this is how I do it. It's nice and easy. You just pop your needle through, hook the yarn on your hook like that, just bring it through. And then the very first stitch will be with both strands, but then, so I'll do just one stitch to establish it, and now I'll drop the end, and I'll keep holding the working yarn, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to do a single crochet in, we're going to do it into that one there, because I want to give that a bit of extra structure. But you only do that on the very first stitch, the joining stitch. Okay, so we're going to go in to the work through both strands of the V of the stitch. Catch the yarn and bring it towards you. Oh, did that go? Look, no, didn't go in, did it? Try again, Michelle. Right, there you go. In there through the 2 strands, but not through there, see? There we go. Catch the yarn and bring it back towards you. Now we're going to catch the yarn and bring it through those 2 loops. So I'll show you again. I'm going to go in there, through both strands of the V. That's my husband with his model, not model, RC airplanes. Okay, in there, catch the yarn, bring it back towards you. Catch the yarn and bring it through both loops. So into the top of the stitch, catch the yarn, bring it back through the stitch, catch the yarn again and bring it through both loops. In through the top of the stitch, catch the yarn and bring it back towards you through the stitch, then catch the yarn and bring it through the 2 loops. Again, it's not too tight, you're not pulling anything tight, and it's not too loose either. So through the next stitch, in, catch the yarn, bring it back out, catch the yarn, bring it through both loops. In, catch the yarn, bring it back out, catch the yarn, bring it through both loops. In, catch the yarn, bring it back, catch the yarn, bring it through both loops. And now we're to the 2 chain strand there, so we're in the chain, pull it through, yarn around, pull through those 2 loops, there we go. And to turn for the next row here, we do 1 chain and then turn our work. And then we're going to go into the top of this stitch here. And we're going to work across, going into the tops, making sure you're going into both sides of the single crochet stitches that we made down there. And this is why you don't want it to be too tight, because you want to be able to get your hook in there. Okay, so they're the 2 stitches you need for the squares and the front rib. It's not rib, is it? But that's what we call it. Did all that brain power and technique learning work? Well, hopefully yours looks a little bit like mine. Do you want to see it? There is. Are you happy, Gary? In his little patchwork cardigan. Hooray! There we go. A few little things I'm going to mention. Gary has big hands, so as I explained, the ribbon's a bit looser for Gary. I haven't tried it on Sally yet, we'll have to see. We'll try that now. Also, Gary's got a nice thick neck. Some of the Build-A-Bears don't have that thick neck, so if you have a Build-A-Bear that is a bit narrower here, you can take out that centre square section there. So before you, right at the stage where you would be putting the squares together, you'd leave those ones out, so then you wouldn't have to do so much ribbing for the collar and the waist. And there we go. It can be as tidy or as wonky as you like, but one thing it definitely is, it's cute, isn't it? What do you think then? Did I do what you asked me to?
Yeah.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Lovely. Are you going to make one now for Sally?
Yeah.
Alright then. Well, I better get this video put together and posted on YouTube for you all. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't. I've hit over 100 subscribers now, which is brilliant. Stupendous in my little world. That is amazing, because I had like 30 subscribers for I think 4 years. And then in the last year it's gone up to 100. So I'm really pleased with that. And I hope that this can help, this little tutorial can help lots of little Build-A-Bears all around the world have cute, funky cardigans that they can show off on TikTok or Instagram or any of these other, what are they even called? Pardon? Social medias that the young ones like to play with. Alright then, thank you. Bye bye.